We pick up the action with Thornton having taken the opening 2 legs and with the darts at the start of the third. Commentary comes from Rod Harrington and Nigel Pearson.
Robert Thornton currently bottom of the Premier League table. Of the 8 players remaining, is 2-0 up on Peter Wright. And if Wright loses this tonight, that could be a real blow to him.
Well, Wright has got to win this leg to go 3-0 down to Robert Thornton. That's going to be a tough task to get back. And there's 2. Oh, we're going to see another one. Just hit the barrel and deflected off. And if he does go 3-0 down, Nige, then perhaps he may just have a little bit of element of doubt with these new darts. However, as I say that, a maximum from Peter Wright.
180 apiece for these players. Thornton averaging 100. Good start to the game. Wright not on a finish. Looking to set himself up.
I really don't understand that with the second dart. Go there with the third dart, but he had a lovely line and length on that treble 20. It's so easy to follow a dart up when you're at the first one in the target. So Thornton, just over the 100, should get 1 dart at a double. It'll be his favourite double top for that 3-0. Oh, straight in the middle.
105 average now for Robert Thornton. This a man who was staring elimination in the face on Judgment Night. Salvaged his campaign in Liverpool when he played twice. He's playing twice tonight as well. Maybe he should play twice every night, if it brings the best out of him like this. Great crowd, enjoying themselves. Oh, what a great recovery. He looks like a man on a mission, Robert Thornton. Crowd are going bananas.
Yeah, every visit from Thornton, hitting at least 1 treble. A lot of visits, it's 2 trebles, as the 106 average proves. And this is going to be a tough task for Peter Wright, as Robert Thornton fills it up again.
Well, I wasn't sure about that second dart, how it nestled in the bed when he went for the third. Thought he may have switched, but he obviously had confidence. And Peter Wright is in a spot of bother here. Look at that average for Thornton. Lovely switch for treble 18 as well. That's beautiful. Well, 109 average now for Robert Thornton, a man who's bottom of the table right now, remember.
Yes, to a certain extent, he can relax a bit. I mean, he's scraped in to the second stage of the Premier League this year, and so he's up for none, as we call it, and so he is going to be the spoiler. And at the moment, he certainly is spoiling the party of Peter Wright.
Playing at a nice pace as well, Thornton, with confidence. Can Wright get this? Has to now. Treble 20 with the first. 20 for tops now. To hold his throw. Big shot coming in. Brilliant! That's what it means to Peter Wright. Snakebite is off and running.
Well, it certainly kept him in the game. And now Peter Wright needs to throw a 12-dart leg here. Needs to take the game to Robert Thornton. Just put Thornton on the back foot. Because at the moment, it's chase, chase, chase from Peter Wright.
Week 11 here in Belfast tonight. The Premier League, always a popular night out in Belfast, this SSE Arena, formerly the Odyssey Arena, as it was known. Next week, Peter Wright faces Michael van Gerwen in Bournemouth. Robert Thornton faces Phil Taylor. So we're at the BIC, by the sea, in Bournemouth next Thursday night. Good match to start here in Belfast.
I don't understand why Peter Wright didn't switch there. The first dart laying below the treble 20, as Thornton is, but Thornton's going to switch. He finds the treble 19s and punishes. Perhaps we call that a mistake from Wright. He should have switched to those 19s. Now he needs to hit a 140. Ton is not really going to be enough.
71 needed for Thornton here now. 14 would leave tops to hold his throw for a 4-1 lead. Finishing is excellent. He's taken out a 1-1-3 tonight. Wright's taken out the 1-2-0, but that was superb from Thornton. Does look like a player with no pressure on his shoulders whatsoever. Fill it up, Peter. Right on cue. Second 180 is 35th of the Premier League. Now Thornton's going to have a go back.
Well, Wright has got to make sure he holds onto his throw and then nicks the throw. Well, that's number 4. That's number 5. Plenty of room to the left. Well, he pins it right between the other 2 points. Perhaps Mr. Wright will give us the 9.
4-1 down. 6 perfect darts. Thornton hits a 180. Here we go. Ironic boos from the crowd. He's got to set himself up now, because that 180 from Thornton has put him under a bit of pressure now as well. If Wright doesn't check out on this next visit now, Thornton left 90, so this has got to go. He's going to go 20 for double 18 here now. Now the door's open for Robert Thornton.
It certainly has. The 20s is the normal route. He's gone for the 25, now to 15. That'll leave the bullseye. Oh, that's an aggressive route from Robert Thornton.
Well, that was exhibition stuff. That's a nice marker for Wright, isn't it? Isn't it? Can't get much closer. Oh, my goodness me. Can you believe it? It's just not going for Peter Wright at the moment. And Robert Thornton punishes him. Well, Peter Wright missed match darts last week in Sheffield, and now he's 5-1 down. And this fella has 2 breaks of throw in his favour. Can he fill it up here? Playing nicely.
Well, there's no signs that Robert Thornton's form is going to let up. And with a bit of form comes extra confidence, and with the confidence comes extra form. And certainly just under the 108 average for Robert Thornton. And when you think the turmoil he's been through in the early part of this Premier League, and to come out all guns a-blazing now, it's incredible form.
Yeah, he lost 7-5 to MVG last week. This is just for starters tonight. 107.4 average for Thornton. 95. And if Peter Wright is going to get anything out of this game, needs to break Thornton sharpish. That was a crucial last dart from Thornton, the reigning World Grand Prix champion in Dublin. Last October, a memorable moment for the Thorn at the City West in Dublin.
Well, folks, you can hear that noise from this crowd. An incredible atmosphere here in Belfast. And Thornton leaves his favourite double top, and you can't see him missing it. And just not consistent enough at the moment for Peter Wright, just over the 90 average, which is unlike his game. For a guaranteed draw for the Thorn.
No mistake from Robert Thornton. He will not be beaten in this first game of the night. So Peter Wright has to win 5 legs on the spin to save the match for a draw. This could be a crushing blow to Peter Wright's hopes of getting to London and the O2 on May the 19th. 4-1-8 180s for a man who is 6-1 down. Astonishing stats.
Well, all Robert Thornton's got to do is win one leg in 5, and he'll be sitting there thinking, well, on your throat, Mr. Wright, you can do what you want, hit 180s. It will not dent the confidence of Robert Thornton, because all he's got to do, step up, just hit one treble with every 3 on his throw.
Well, he's not out of this leg. One slack visit from Peter now. And Robert will be ready, you can be sure of that. No treble for Peter Wright.
Do you know, Nigel, a lot of Peter's darts have been going low and in the one. You know, they're just not happy with that grip on that dart. He's gone from a straight barrel to that tapered, and means that last finger at the end of the dart is a little bit strange for him. However, a 140 will set it up absolutely perfect.
Right on cue. Peter Wright looks like he's going to take this game a little bit further. I think maybe Robert setting himself up for the next leg when he'll have the throw. And as you say, Rod, you'd think one treble per visit would almost be there. Finally, Peter Wright gets there. His finishing has been slack tonight. 2 out of 10 attempts. Now, here we go. He hits a treble with the first dart. Robert Thornton throwing nice and straight, a 140. Wins the leg, wins the match. Simple as that.
Yes, the mood that Thornton's in. You can't see him losing this match now. And kicks off with a 140, and again, those darts, unlike Peter Wright, normally a real consistent battler, but this evening he has just been out of sorts, and he's walked into a Robert Thornton at the top of his game and the top of his confidence.
Well, that was slack, and he knows it. And a treble from Wright. Can he claw his way back into this leg now? This is nice. Now, Thornton needs to kick on. Needs to use that for a treble. Another one to do nicely. That was better. Great response, Rod.
All down to that first dart, line and length. Your eyes tell you that you can follow it up, and he certainly did. But anything short of a 180, he just needs to hit more than one treble to put any pressure on. And he hasn't done it, so 6 darts from 177 for Thornton to win the first game of the night here in Belfast.
Switch for 19s. Brilliant, leaves tops. Fantastic. So it looks as though it could be curtains for Wright here in Belfast. And Robert Thornton on the verge of only his 2nd win in 11 Premier League games. Tops he needs. Robert Thornton wins the opening game of the night. It's only his 2nd win of the Premier League. It's a hammer blow to Peter Wright and his hopes of qualifying. Still a way to go, though. Match 1 here in Belfast goes the way of Robert Thornton, averaging 105, and he wins 7 legs to 2.
Welcome back to week 11 of the Premier League, and here in Belfast, Robert Thornton has opened with an impressive 7-2 win over Peter Wright. He averaged over 105, the Thorn, in claiming what was only his 2nd win of the season. Coming up now, the clash between Raymond van Barneveld and Phil Taylor. Commentary comes from Wayne Mardle and Rod Stubb.
Seems like they've been playing each other for decades, and it's not far off the truth. 2007, Barney's finest hour. What's he got for us tonight? Can he repeat that opening night win over the Power? Since then, Phil Taylor has gone unbeaten in 10 consecutive matches to top the pile. 3 points clear, towing the hockey tonight. And starting perfectly.
Yeah, coincidentally about that first time they played, that was one of Barney's best performances against Phil's very worst. He hasn't started off poorly here, has he? Phil has been saying for weeks that the equipment is now using, the darts are absolutely perfect. And his words are not mine when he says, I don't think they can be improved upon. Oh my.
Fab start to the match. One expects nothing less from these darting doyens. Half a slip by Phil Taylor, just opening the door back for RBB. Yes, the bullseye!
Can Phil take out the 1-2-1? Looking for the treble 20. Now he needs the 51 and the bullseye. Doesn't get as close as Raymond, but leaves a double. Can Barney step in and take out double 8 for the first leg? A crucial moment already, maybe.
Well, it was a leg that started with a Phil Taylor maximum, and had Barney pinched it, it would have felt good. Now he feels awful.
It's always horrible when you're playing. You start off well, you're throwing well. You miss 2 darts at a double, you get broken. It's a brilliant switch by Phil with darts 2 and 3. The first one was so far away. Raymond van Barneveld is only on 7 points. Phil Taylor is on 18. And if Phil were to win this match, he would go 5 points clear at the top of the table. And 13 points clear of Barney. Incredible.
And as you alluded to earlier, it opens the door for Robert Thornton to get himself out of the darting cellar by beating Van Barneveld. Here's the table as it stands, with Phil Taylor 3 clear start in this game. Has played a game more than his main adversaries at the top. Barney here, well, there it is, 7 points. And as we saw, the 4th place, that's the last qualifying position, has 13 points. And if Barney gets beat here, really, it's all over, isn't it, Wayne?
Yes. Barney has only won 1 of his last 7 matches. That's why he's only 7th in the table. Here's a chance, 1-6-1. Miss 1-2-1 on the bullseye. We'll just be looking to leave a 1 darter. Now a 2 darter.
On now, Big 11 leaves the ball to double his money. It whistles wide, so Barney survives.
Well, it shows you how well Phil Taylor has started off. Left 1-2-1. After 9 darts both times, as Barney fluffs his lines again. Can Phil step in? Took out 24 in the last. Can he take out 25 in this?
Can he step in? Can he step in? 2-0 to Phil Taylor, punishing his old rival for his inability to go out on 96. Well, last year, of course, Wayne, Barneveld finished with the proverbial rattle, didn't he, with 6 wins in 7 games in the second phase of the competition to make the playoffs. Like a horse giving his rivals 10-length start and sweeping past them, but this year a very different story.
Swooping past. That is Barney's 5th 140. Very good. The start of the 3rd leg.
Yes, he can give them 10-length start. He can't give them a furlong start, which is what he's attempting to do this year. He's already 6 points behind. If he loses here, well, he could be as much as 8 behind by the time Gary Anderson or James Wade or Adrian Lewis have finished their work for the evening.
Yeah, it'll all be too much. The players in front will all be playing each other, so points will be distributed there. Phil Taylor has beaten Raymond van Barneveld 54 times. Oh dear. Imagine losing to one man that often. Dear oh Lord.
Well, in the great Dutchman's defence, he has won the last 4 in the Premier League, if you count a semi-final, 3 regular season matches and a playoff game. Unlucky deflection for Phil Taylor. Now, Barney here really has to pounce. Has to pounce. Tops.
Well, Barney now has missed 3 combinations, 25, 96 and 66. They're not that simple, but you can start to panic when you start missing them. And Phil is on a double. This has to go, RVB. Can you? Oh, perfect marker.
Well, I have to say, I half expected the 1-3-3 to go off the back of missed double by Barney, but it didn't go, and now 2-0 becomes 2-1. Oh. Over the years, so many times, his opponent has earned a leg, given themselves a glimmer of hope to see it snuffed out by a clinical masterclass from Taylor.
Feels it, 2-1-80s in this match. The opening throw. And that one at the start of the leg as well. Barney's in a nice rhythm, but he's just missing, like I said, the combinations, a few darts at a double. Barney looking, as you said, Rod, to put on a real spurt and make the playoffs. Highly unlikely. He's made them 8 times from 11 years. It's some achievement.
Oh, Phil. Phil turned down a shot at the bullseye to leave Barney the big fish. Couldn't reel it in, so Phil Taylor with his preferred double 16 to go 3-1 up, working his way from left to right across your screen and into the green.
Phil looks like, to me, he's just leaning forward that little bit more. That can mean a couple of things. It can mean you're trying too hard, or it can mean you're confident. And I'm going for Phil's confident. There's an action we've seen so often. Just seems to be throwing them that little bit firmer. Throwing them well.
I just think he's playing really, really well at the moment, isn't he?
He looks like he is, doesn't he?
He looks like he, and he knows it, yeah. And when we think about the Premier League last season when he didn't qualify, remember, unbelievably didn't make the final four. Remember those times when he was throwing weak darts at vital points in matches? Not a sign of that now. Positive, powerful darts from Phil Taylor.
Yeah, indeed. Thrown with authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a point when he was being questioned about leaving double 16 because he was so poor on it. Now it's a case of, Phil, leave double 16, you'll get it. How things change in sport.
So the average goes to 103.5 for Phil Taylor, leaving 87 here to break again and go 4-1 up. He's only thrown 9 darts in this leg. Barney leaves it handy. 2 at double 18 if he needs them. 11 dart leg for Phil Taylor, who is bossing this match with exactly the same authority as Van Barneveld bossed the game against him in week 1. What a difference we're seeing tonight.
Welcome back to Belfast, and it's Taylor against Van Barneveld. Taylor, the league leader, has opened up an advantage over his old rival as we pick up the action in the 6th leg.
This match could have all hinged on that very first leg. Phil wanted 1-2-1 and left 24. Barney wanted 1-2-1 and left 25. When Barney come back for that 25, he missed it and Phil didn't. He has not looked as confident since that throw.
Well, Phil Taylor has not finished top of the Premier League in any of the last 3 seasons. But at start of play tonight, he was 3 points clear. He was still 5-4 against to finish top. Van Gerwen 4-5 favourite to finish top of the pile. But Taylor looking to go 5 clear and heap some pressure on the world #1, who plays the world champion Gary Anderson.
There we see the average from Phil Taylor. That's what he does, isn't it? It's the way he plays. Brilliant.
Well, he's had a couple of averages higher than that this year, 111 against Wade and 115 against Chisnell. But this, he's making look very, very easy, this 106, doesn't he? He's just almost a 3rd gear performance. And yet you look at the average and you think, crikey, 105.
Well, he's doing something tonight and throughout this Premier League that he just couldn't do last year, and that is relax and play. It looked really hard work for Phil Taylor last year. This year, it's like he never went through that dip in confidence, really. That's all it was. That leaves double 4.
And Phil Taylor goes 5-1 up here on Van Barneveld and pushing the Dutchman closer to the Premier League exit door. Peter Wright has already lost tonight. He's got 11 points and, well, his chances of qualification for the semis have taken a knock. Is it now any 4 from 5, I wonder? Well, I say any 4. One of the 4 will be Phil Taylor. Beneath him in the table now, Van Gerwen, Lewis, Anderson and Wade.
But if Phil does go on and convert another 2 legs so to make his points tally 20, he'll have a 7-point buffer from 1st to 5th. That won't be overhauled. It won't be.
No, the only way he could fail to qualify now would be to forget to turn up every Thursday.
Barney just shaking the head a little. See, Robert Thornton will be looking at this thinking, hold on, Barney, I've got you last game. I fancy you, son. I feel like it.
I think Robert Thornton deserves a huge amount of respect for the way he's battled away firstly to get into this phase of the competition, but then realising from then on he couldn't really qualify. He's never once turned it in. It's been superb. Talking of superb, Barneveld's first maximum of the match to give him hope of keeping the game going.
Barney only seems interested when he hits a 61st dart. When he doesn't, he becomes just a little phased by it all. 9 or a 5? Never know with Barney, with the old 36. Sometimes he loves it. For the first ton plus finish of this match, under no pressure at all. But he will be, you assume.
Well, he's lost the last 3 legs, but the rot is stopped by Barney. Keeps the flame flickering.
Good leg from Raymond. I can assure you, though, that Phil will be thinking it was on your throw, Ray. You're not worrying me just yet. Well, the first dart just left the bed open for the second and third. Phil Taylor 102 average, Raymond 97.
We've mentioned the Premier League record, the recent record in favour of Barney, but they did meet in the UK Open, mid-Premier League, if you like, back in March, last month, in point of fact. Taylor took Barneveld to the cleaners, 9-3. And this looking like something similar, such as his starting dominance over his old rival.
All 3 of Phil's 180s have come at the start of a leg now. RVB will stay there, looking for another. Well, there's a bit of a loopy one, that. Well, the recommended start is a treble 19. Got to go back up there.
Well, I'll tell you what, was 5-1, a hold made it 5-2. Now, treble 17 will leave the bull for a break in 12 darts. Sheesh.
Should have gone for a big 10, that would have messed with Phil's head. It's worth a try. Double 10 for a point. Magnificent, isn't it?
Well, imagine if he had tried that, some would say, idiotic tactic by Barneveld, but it may well have just been the kind of ludicrous thing to discombobulate the power.
Well, the 80 wouldn't have been so simple, would it? Would it? I would love to be that far ahead in a leg. I might try it one day.
Well, Phil Taylor is a long way ahead here, isn't he, in legs? He's 4 in front. There are only 4 to play. Barney must win the whole lot to snatch a point.
There's just a petulant dart by Barney there, just thrown with no care. You can't be doing that, RVB. Come on. You're playing the great man.
I'll tell you what is absolutely staggering, that Barneveld's average and Taylor are just about identical at the moment. And yet, you'd think it's such a one-sided game. Nothing in it, really. And yet Phil Taylor has just been totally dominant. Strange how stats can lie sometimes, Wayne.
Yeah, that's right. Phil's hit 6 doubles, Barney only 2. 60, 60. Can he leave double 18? The answer is yes. Well, now Phil's at it. Well, they were thrown with no care either. What's going on, fellas? You've accumulated 21 world titles between you. As Barney leaves 18. Phil Taylor's last 2 darts were just thrown at the board, single 19, single 19. If he was to hit any treble with those, this would have been a far easier finish and could have wrapped up the match. Never, ever throw darts away.
Double 9 then. And we go on. Had to win 4 legs consecutively to earn a draw. 1 down, 3 to go. 2 of them on the Phil Taylor throw.
Well, he's concentrating this time, isn't he? Another perfect start for Phil Taylor.
Well, that's perfect. Oh.
He'll be disappointed.
He
with
will
that.
be. So will the crowd. They wanted the max to leave 144 for the 9 dart.
60.
Only 60. Phil Taylor knows this game should be in his pocket within the next minute or so. Unless RVB can do something outrageous. We know he can, but can he do it now?
Well, he just hasn't had the gas or the gears to handle this man tonight. And a level turn is good enough to leave a 2-dart combination with Barney nowhere near.
Phil Taylor just 43 points away from a 5-point lead at the top of the table. Now he's 32 points away. Double 16. Double 16.
A chance. In his heart, he thought he would never have. Too accurate, Raymond. Only 1 dart at double now. Double 4 to stay in this match. Yes, Barney! Yes, Barney! 2 darts at double 16. Did not find the target from Phil Taylor. And the band played on. HMS Van Barneveld sails on. The ship is still afloat.
This is why darts is just so watchable. You have to win it. You can't just play for time. You've got to hit that final double, and Phil Taylor couldn't.
60.
At double 16, it's been a little bit problematical this evening. He's hit it once, but he's missed it 4 times, Phil Taylor. So a hold and a break from Barney, reducing the arrears from 6-2 to 6-4. Incredible.
He keeps the pressure on. Well, Barney looked to me, he didn't grip that second dart right at all.
92.
Maybe he shouldn't have thrown it. He does not want to see Phil Taylor at a 61st dart.
Or second or third dart for that matter,
Yeah.
Wayne.
Oh, that's a quality dart. When you know you've got to hit a big score, it's not easy to just go up there and hit a treble first dart. But Phil knows if he can leave tops here.
Well, he can't see the target, and yet he really needs to be going for the treble 20, just for the basic maths of it all.
Should have gone bullseye.
Yes, good shout.
Well, leaving 1-2-2, you've now got to hit treble to bullseye. Or even 2 trebles to a double. If he'd have gone for the bullseye and hit a 25, leaves 115. You only need 1 treble and then single to double. So much easier. Cannot go out now. Leaves 32.
The target is missed twice for the match. Will he get another 3 at it? Maybe not. Tops for Barney. Goodness me! One of those, Wayne, that say that Barney folds like a cheap suit. He's the grinder tonight, trying to grind out a draw.
Phil Taylor in this match is it 174, 177 and 3 180s. They're his 5 highest shots. They've all come at the start of a leg. Quite incredible.
Oh, and now... Oh. Well, not a flicker. Had that happened 2 or 3 legs ago, there might have been a reaction, a bit of laughter from Phil Taylor that the 9 dart wasn't on. He's here for business now. He knows he's under threat.
Oh, this is brilliant. You can understand why these two have been at the very top for the past 20-odd years. Oh, what a leg from Phil Taylor. 171 to leave 32. Absolutely majestic. It does not get better than that to wrap up a match. This is for a 10-dart leg.
Let's remember, Phil Taylor has seen a 6-2 lead reduced to 6-5. For a 10-dart match-winning leg. Double 4. And he will be back, but it will be back for double 2. He's missed 5 darts for the match here, the power.
5 darts missed. Double 2 shouldn't be too much of a problem. His darts lay down so he can go outside without covering it. Just work his way up into the double. That is a 7-5 win for Phil Taylor over Raymond van Barneveld. It was a quality match, littered with brilliance. Phil Taylor is now 5 points clear at the top of the table in this year's Premier League. Can he be caught?
Welcome back to Belfast, where Phil Taylor has increased his lead at the top of the Premier League with another victory, this time over long-time rival Raymond van Barneveld. The match went the distance, with the Dutchman applying the pressure in the closing stages, but the victory went to Taylor. Coming up now, it's James Wade against Adrian Lewis. Commentary for this match comes from Rod Harrington and Rod Stubb.
In my opinion, the most important match of the night. Both players on 13 points, looking to hunt down a top 4 finish. I think almost everybody you talk to thinks that 3 of the qualifiers are going to be Phil Taylor, Michael van Gerwen and Gary Anderson. That leaves 1 chair available when the music stops. And these two are trying to get a seat when we reach the O2 in May. It's a crucial game, isn't it, Rob, this one, for both players?
Yes, it certainly is, because as Wayne said, James Wade has already played that extra game. However, with Peter Wright losing this evening, that has eased the situation a little bit, as we see Adrian Lewis firing the first one of the night. And if Lewis starts hitting it early on, then perhaps the real Adrian Lewis will turn up. But you say that, Rodders, with Gary Anderson, if he loses to Michael van Gerwen this evening, that gives him a little bit of a problem.
The next match, oh, unlucky Adrian. Next match, yep, is Gary Anderson against Michael van Gerwen, and then after that, Van Barneveld and Thornton toe the hockey for the second time tonight. Well, he doesn't need to go 51 for Bull.
Well, I certainly like the 25 with that last start. James would have guaranteed you 2 darts at a double instead of 1. However, if he does hit the treble, he will get 2 darts.
Treble 8, normally the target for Wade to leave tops. And he has 2 in his hand. And 1 will do. And James Wade has made a very impressive start here.
Yes, that's a very exceptional leg on your throw to kick the game off. And the one thing he is solid. If you don't play at the top of your game, normally you are going to lose to James Wade.
Well, indeed, very solid player. It's a clash of styles in a sense, Rod, isn't it? The natural flamboyance, the ease of throw of Adrian Lewis, and James Wade, the machine, the mechanical action, the trigger movement, and a man who will wring every ounce of his ability out of himself. And when he packs up, he'll be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, that was the best I could do, and you can't fault a man for that.
Oh, you're absolutely right. In footballing terms, in my day, Kevin Keegan is playing George Best here.
Adrian makes that look so easy as he picks off a couple of treble 19s. Yes, as Wayne and Dave were saying, extraordinary game when they met earlier on in the competition. Turned into a missed double-a-thon when they were both missed about 57 attempts at double in the final leg. Wade was looking for a draw. Lewis eventually got the win.
Yes, that was an incredible leg by 2 talented players. It was like watching a couple down the pub. But Lewis is going to get 3 darts at the 108 when he returns. All Wade he can do, he needs a 60 here really, which he hasn't found, so it is 6 darts now for Lewis to level it up. Wow, double 16 it was, and double 16 he got.
Yeah, we saw before the match some of the magical memories of Adrian Lewis's 2 World Championships. James Wade will feel, Rod, that one of them should have been his. That semi-final, the infamous Gone with the Wind semi-final.
Yes.
Which Wade led 5-1 and lost 6-5, and then Lewis went on to win the final against Andrew Hamilton.
Yes, and no offence to Andy Hamilton, I think whoever was going to win out of the 2, it would have been, they would have gone on and won that. But Wadey at 5 sets to 1 up should have closed out. But he needs to start finding a couple of trebles. He's got to get daylight between himself and Lewis, because Lewis will just turn up and fire in a few trebles himself, and that's how dangerous Lewis can be.
Well, the Wade throw now is under considerable pressure. Just hasn't been able to find a treble here, and even if Lewis doesn't go out here, still, you feel, going to be in very good shape at the end of the visit. Well, he will be now, and he is now.
A beautiful setup from Adrian Lewis, gives him 2 darts of the double. And James Wade's previous visit without a treble has caused him to be on the verge of losing his throw. Well, it should be 2. I think he prefers the double top. No, he's gone double 16. Double 16 it is for the second time. That's 100% on the doubles for Adrian Lewis, and that's a breaker throw.
Oh my. 2 lugs on the spin for Adrian Lewis. Whatever happens, even if he wins, he'll stay in 3rd spot behind Michael van Gerwen on leg difference, the world #1 to play the world champion Gary Anderson next. But he really will have enhanced his playoff prospects.
Well, certainly the rhythm of those last 3 darts from Adrian Lewis was absolutely superb. Beautiful tempo. And when he's in that sort of mood, he can beat anyone. And coming up, the world champion takes on the world #1, Michael van Gerwen, against Gary Anderson. And, well, what a prospect that is. Mouth-watering.
Yeah, repeat of the final from last May. Well, Anderson upset the odds to retain his title. To win the title and then go on to regain his world title. Some period of darting dominance in the big events from Gary Anderson, looking to go back-to-back in the Premier League and the World Championship in the space of a couple of years. Incredible.
Do you know, that's another visit at a real crucial time for James Wade, where he's not managed to pick off a treble. Well, he needs that bullseye to give himself 2 darts at a double. Oh, well, now it's 17 for tops to get the breaker throw back. 2 legs apiece this will be for James Wade, and that's I have to say, it's a bit of a pull.
Oh, 2 at double 8 now for Jackpot. 3 darts thrown at double. All 3 have gone in, and Lewis has won 3 on the trot. That time he needed a missed dart at tops from Wade to give him the chance, but boy, did he take it.
A lot of James's first darts are going low, and it's causing him just to push him a little bit. He needs to just keep that machine-like rhythm going. He just tends to go up on that left toe to get the height. Well, he's switching this time, which is an easier target than 19s. He should do that more often.
Adrian Lewis has been keen to point out, and he's right to point it out also, that the only players that have beaten him in the Premier League this year are the 3 players ranked higher than him in the world rankings, namely Van Gerwen, Taylor and Anderson. No one else has beaten him. There was a draw last week against Peter Wright, but apart from that, he's won every single game.
Well, I don't understand the 25 from James. Admittedly, it makes it an even number, but a treble 20 would have been far better. You've got to score as much as you can and get down there, especially against the scoring power of Adrian Lewis. Now, if Lewis sets it up, which he did last time, well, Wade again in trouble on his throw, and he's not going to take it out, so Lewis returns. He's already taken the 76 out, and leg 2 with 2 clean darts. Oh, it's the previous leg, sorry.
And the same result, the same scenario, the same outcome. Adrian Lewis, 4 darts thrown at double, 4 successes.
Well, there we have that first dart low. This time he has found the treble on both occasions. He can't afford to make any mistakes now, James Wade, with Lewis in this sort of mood.
The only player to have beaten Michael van Gerwen in the 2016 Premier League. He did so at Leeds on opening night, James Wade. But he's finding Adrian Lewis a bit too hot to handle.
You see that little push again, and that causes what you're trying to do. You're trying to get more height in the dart because you know you're coming low, but what he's doing is actually causing him to go low because he's losing his rhythm. Just needs to keep his foot firmly on the ground, the left foot, and just let all the action, just like Adrian Lewis. You're not seeing him push the darts. It's a nice fluent throw from the Jackpot.
Yeah, Wade just cannot get the first dart right, can he? And then everything else is following on from there. All the problems are starting with the first dart.
It's absolutely killing him. He just cannot. If it was just above the treble and missing, yeah, absolutely perfect. But he can't find that treble from a blocker dart. And like I said earlier on, he should be using the treble 19 a lot more.
Well, a pause from Wade. He knows how important this long-range finish is, and it won't go. So Lewis coming back now for a 5th consecutive leg win. He was 1-0 down not long ago. Oh, now then, he's hit his first 4 darts at double and suddenly he misses 3 off the reel.
A chance for James Wade to get back in this match. Double 18 it is. He's just won a breaker throw down now.
Welcome back to Belfast for Adrian Lewis against James Wade, a vital match in the race to make the top 4. This is now the 7th leg.
What he needs to do is put in a big strong leg, just put AD on the back foot a little bit. Well, it doesn't come any better than that for a first dart, and that's why it's easy to follow when the first dart is in the right position.
Well, if you've watched Adrian over the years and been mesmerised by his brilliance, you can also be baffled by how suddenly he can oscillate from brilliance to baffling stuff. You wouldn't have expected him to miss all 3 at double the way he was throwing. But it's just opened the door back open to James Wade. Lewis still in command, mind you, 4-2 up with a break advantage.
Yes, I don't know why James's second dart weren't at the 19s, because he could have walked off with 96 there to leave 130. Instead, the second dart was deflected in the 20. There still is a check out, but it's the second biggest on the board. And he doesn't need to go for it, but he needs to set it up. The problem with this, with the Lewis's talent, he could easily go up and fire in a 180 and put you right under pressure.
Well, this is to get back within a single leg of the former world champion. 14 for Bull. Oh, and that leaves double 11 then.
Double 12 for a 5-2 lead, and this time he's missed. So Wade gets another chance. 2 more darts, and they will be at double 4. No messing around this time. Now this is a real crucial leg for Adrian Lewis.
And he knows it. A game that he was in complete command of at 4-1, and with 3 darts in his hand at a double. Had any of them hit, he'd have gone 5-1 up. He missed. Wade swooped and then has won the 7th leg as well. As it stands, Lewis, one of 3 players on 13 points. Gary Anderson and his opponent here, the other 2.
Yes, the worst way James Wade has got to get a draw. A loss here is not going to do him any favours. There we have it right, losing his match, stays on 11 points.
Well, it's been a solid leg from Adrian Lewis. Even with that bounce out, he's left 141 after 9 darts. Well, he should convert this position into a 5-3 lead. Well, that will leave him 56.
And again, Wade's gone into that mode of getting the first dart low, although he has found the treble on 2 occasions. So a little bit of pressure on Adrian Lewis. 2 darts a double top. If he's going to miss just above, oh, that was a bit of a snatch. AD. Well, Wade, you have to say, Rodders, is one of the kings at taking out these sort of checkouts under pressure. Just over the 100.
Needs to find the treble 19, and he has, so double 12 to level this match. Incredibly, from nowhere, this match is all square. Adrian Lewis, having hit his first 4 darts at double, has missed his last 6 consecutively. It has been from feast to famine on the doubles from Lewis, and from 4-1 up and looking odds-on to go 5-1, it's all square. And you have to say, typical James Wade. Hanging around in darts matches he has no business being still in.
Yes, I have to agree with you. With his talent, you know, he should just push on. He makes it look so easy. One of the rawest talents in the game. It just needs now, AD, just to put a couple of legs together. Well, preferably 3 legs of level 12s, which he's quite capable of doing. And with darts like that, he should follow it up, should be at least a 140, and that's where AD's just dipped over these last 2 or 3 legs.
Well, James Wade is still fighting the problem he's had with his first dart. He's getting it right occasionally now. He was struggling with it all the way through the match, but he's fought his way through the problems he's had, and now has a chance to go in front for the first time since he won the first leg. Bullseye! Seeing is believing here in Belfast as Wade leads 5-4.
Well, he's gone 101, 1-2, 1 out as James Wade. Perhaps the 1-2-1 has woken Adrian Lewis up. Needs to get the power scoring going that he possesses. Well, we've seen several legs this evening kicked off with the maximum. Oh, and that's perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, here we go. And the 144 is a lot easier way of hitting the 9 dart. If the first dart is perfect, he's got line and length for the second treble.
A man who's had a 9-darter in a World Championship final. Now on in the Premier League in Belfast. Yes, double 12. Adrian Lewis!
At last!
The 9-dart leg! The darting holy grail! He finds it in Belfast! Wonderful scenes, wonderful darts from the mercurial talent that is Adrian Jackpot Lewis.
And we have to say, Rodders, that is typical Lewis. Has a mediocre 2 or 3 legs and then fires in. And at last, we've had a 9-darter in this year's Premier League. Can we have it back to back?
Oh,
yes, please.
Deary me. No one has ever had 9 darters in consecutive legs, though Michael van Gerwen came within an ace of doing it in the World Championship, ironically against James Wade. Magical.
Well, that 144, as I said, is an easier route for that reason. He's got line and length off the first dart, and it was absolutely perfect. I know it's silly to say that they were all 9 perfect darts, because sometimes you do get a dart that squeezes in the corner, but they were absolutely perfect from Jackpot.
And now the switch is flicked by Lewis as he piles in another maximum. What a strange game it's been. He was 4-1 up, then he was 5-4 down. Then the 9-dart leg. Now a chance to go back in front again. Well, it's still on. It's 90, so treble 20. Well, yes, double 18 from the treble.
Well, this is to hold the throw. We've seen a 101, a 1-2-1 from James Wade, and this is so important. It's to hold his throw. Oh, that's covered a bit. Yeah, he's got to go treble 16. He can't afford to take a deflection going for the treble 20. Oh, so Lewis is going to come back. No, the double 18, the double 9, sorry, is not the best double on the dartboard. Sometimes you can be a little bit too cautious with the first dart and put it way outside and split it with the second. So, Adi, you've got to attack it, hit it with the first dart.
Lewis back in front, 6-5. And full credit, off the back of the 9-dart leg, he kept his focus.
Wow.
Well, if Anthony Josh was looking for a next opponent, I mean, dearie me. Adrian's giving it the big one there, Rodney.
A very large one. Yeah, you don't see Adi do that too often. A couple of fist pumps, but that was some raw adrenaline running through the veins of Adrian Lewis there. You know, we just, you know, we're dart fans, we love this game. We just wish that Lewis could find that form that he showed in these last few legs all the time. He would be, well, what would he not win?
Well, Wade continues to scrap away here. He's showing his tungsten tenacity. Still got a chance of a draw here, remember. It's a bit like their previous meeting when Lewis led 6-5 and managed to get it done in 12. Oh, this could be the big body blow if he can find another treble, and he can. Careful, Adrian, careful, careful.
Yeah, it's a very tidy leg at the moment from Lewis. Double top after 12. Oh, Wade, the treble 17. It's the treble 17 ball for the draw from James Wade. Oh, I thought it was in. I thought it was in when it was pitching.
Incredible. Tops for Lewis for the match to bring the curtain down on a classic. Can he? You bet he can! Adrian Lewis has had a night to remember in Belfast. A 9-dart leg and a wonderful win over a tenacious James Wade. It puts Lewis in great shape to qualify for the finals.
Well, if anybody can follow it, it is these two. I mean, there could be another 9-darter. I mean, these two have the raw talent. We've just seen the raw talent of Adrian Lewis, and these two players are with him. I mean, it's unbelievable. We've seen Michael van Gerwen break so many records and averages. He's up against Gary Anderson, the world champion. No one's going to give an inch here.
It's just lifted the whole atmosphere here in Belfast.
Unbelievable, especially when Michael walked on. I mean, everybody was off their seats singing. As we were standing backstage here, I mean, every young kid was at the back here in that stand shouting for Michael to give him a wave. It's just electrifying.
How do you see this one going?
Well, I've got Van Gerwen just to edge it on the form line, but it's very hard to back or tip against Gary Anderson because he has got that talent like Michael van Gerwen. They can fire off level 12s, you know, just 3, 4, 5 legs, so it could go any way.
Wayne Mardle and Nigel Pearson, your commentators.
Yes, follow that indeed. How do you follow a 9-darter? But what a match to look forward to here, with Michael van Gerwen on 15 points, level with Adrian Lewis in the Premier League now after Adie's magnificent display there. Gary on 13. Big game for Gary Anderson because sat on 13 points, level with James Wade, and Peter Wright still on 11. So can't afford to let it slip too much. But certainly one of those games we look forward to and relish.
Yeah, we do indeed. Michael van Gerwen beat Gary Anderson in week 2 after Gary missed the first week through illness. Beat him 7-3. Gary averaged 106 on that occasion. Didn't exactly play too shoddy, but just wasn't good enough to beat MVG on that occasion. And Michael's already started off in fine fettle in the first leg. Just a little 12 darter, but we kind of expect that from these two, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I wish I'd have put a stopwatch on that. How long did that leg last? It was brilliant.
It's quite an interesting dynamic with these two, because Michael van Gerwen, the world #1, and he was absolutely relentless last year, winning major after major. But Gary Anderson, the world #2, he won the one that Michael covets most, and that's the World Championship. 2 years running, back-to-back world champion for Gary Anderson. Such an achievement.
Well, Michael is at the same tournament count in terms of tournament victories as he was this time last year. At this particular stage now, after Barnsley last weekend, 3 finals, of course, was beaten by Ian White, but it was still a productive weekend for MVG, and he's at the same stage now with tournament victories as he was last year.
170 for Michael. Another one. He's the only man to have hit this in the Premier League so far. Can he hit another? Can he hit another? Well, tells you what he thought of that. Could be an important miss. Tops for a level game. That is the equaliser. 1-1.
Welcome back to week 11 of the Premier League, and here in Belfast it's the world #1 up against the world champion. Michael van Gerwen against Gary Anderson, all level after the opening 2 legs. This is now the third.
Not a bad game so far, is it? Decent couple of legs to get us underway, Wayne.
You could watch it all night, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
When this man is on, it's ridiculously easy. Got such a lovely throw, Gary Anderson. And this man, there's none more relaxed in the world of darts on release of the dart.
Well, he's got a dodgy back as well. It's a good job he's not 100% fit for Gary.
Yeah, he's got a bad back. Of course he has. Yeah.
3 finals last weekend in Barneveld. Oh, here he goes again. How dare he interrupt these important stats that I'm trying to get out.
180, 180.
Goodness me.
What a pace. 48, another 16. Well, I think he went for a single 8 there, but it didn't matter. Tell you what, they're dragging each other along here, aren't they?
They are indeed, and what I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted by another 180. 3 finals last weekend in Barnsley. He lost 1 final with 111 average, and there he goes again. He's hitting 180s for fun. Michael got a 9 darter on Friday, lost a final with 111 average. It was a good weekend for Alan Norris, Robbie Green, but look at Michael van Gerwen, he comes again! Good weekend for Norris, Green, Van der Pas, but Michael is still the one who's there consistently in the latter stages of these tournaments.
Michael van Gerwen averaged 117.95 last week. That was his 2nd highest average of the Premier League so far. The highest being that record-breaking 123.40. Gary Anderson is giving as good as he's getting here.
Yeah. Well, if it had hit the treble 18, the ball was on, but Gary Anderson now for double 18 to level it. Oh, no problem. No problem at all. 2 apiece. Easy as you like. And Gary averaging 106, Michael 117, 116 Gary. Well, this is quite spectacular.
It's a shame this isn't over the best of 31 legs, isn't it? Michael van Gerwen looking to accumulate points 16 and 17 to move within 3 points of Phil Taylor, who at the moment has a 5-point lead. Huge lead, really, considering how tough it's been.
Well, they're both on top of the game, and they are serving up an absolute treat here. Look at this. Oh. 4 180s for Michael. Can Gary get his first one?
60, 57.
117 average for Gary Anderson. He's not going to be on a finish now, so Michael for a hold of throw. Nothing in it so far. 16 for double 16. He's going to go for tops now. There he goes, no problem. And the finishing here, Wayne, is magnificent. Michael's the only one who's missed a shot at a double.
Yeah, the scoring's pretty poor and the finishing's great. It's all great. It's just, like I said, we expect this so often from the players nowadays, but they do deliver more often than not. It's a ludicrous standard. The last 6 meetings between these two, the first 3 went to Gary Anderson, the last 3 have gone to Michael van Gerwen. And there we can see the table as it stands. Michael looking to add another 2 points, and if Gary could, he'll consolidate that 4th spot, or with a bigger win, may go into 3rd.
Well, the way it's going, all the early signs are we could go to a draw.
Well,
one slip, one error.
Yeah, we just want it to go the whole 12 legs.
Won't take long.
Well, it leaves 86. Michael just throwing a few slack ones now for a holder throw. 54-32. Well, got to go for 18 or treble. Now the bullseye. Got to go for it.
Well, you wouldn't put this past Michael van Gerwen, would you? For a 1-5-2. There's the first start. Another one would lead double 16. Width of the wire. Width of the wire. Here we go, 25. Double 12 for Anderson now. Levels it, 3 apiece. A tasty tussle here. Van Gerwen 111 average. Gary on 109. And a 5th 180 for Michael van Gerwen.
He's in again. That's 4 perfect darts. Adrian Lewis, just in case you didn't see it, in his match against James Wade to make it 5 legs apiece, hit a 9-darter. 180, 177, 144. The first one in 4 years since Simon Whitlock back in 2012. Well done, Adrian.
The only surprise about that is the fact that it's taken 4 years in the Premier League. Look at this from Gary now. Oh, that's his first in a match. It gives Michael something to think about, doesn't it? Double 16, no problem. No problem for Michael.
It's the pace. They're both enjoying it. They clearly both like playing each other. Gary especially. He called out Michael van Gerwen last year, didn't he, in the playoffs? He said, I'll win me semi-final. I want to play Michael van Gerwen in the final and beat him. That's exactly what happened. It's always saying you can do it, but when you can, I'm not jealous at all.
Yes, and Michael prolific, winning tournaments left, right and centre. But I think privately he will admit Gary's got the one he wanted.
If you only win 1 tournament a year, it's the only one you want. And it was, well, it is proving elusive for Michael van Gerwen. Only 1-time world champ And when you think how good he's been since 2012, probably not the best return. Look at those averages. Oh dear.
It's not bad, is it? More world titles in Michael van Gerwen for sure.
Yes.
A lot of years ahead of him, no doubt. Now, 8 would leave tops. For 4 apiece. Oh, the finishing is brilliant. Absolutely. 80% for Gary, 67% for Michael, and we're level at 4 apiece. What a match.
Welcome back to Belfast, and it's Van Gerwen against Anderson, all level after the opening 8 legs. This is now the 9th, and commentary comes from Nigel Pearson and Wayne Mardle.
There's just no faffing at all, is there? They're just getting on with it.
99.
Should become darting law that it has to be played this way. You only get 3 seconds to release all 3 darts and pluck them from the board and get out the way for your opponent to throw.
If you go past 3 seconds, you get a buzzer then, do you?
Well, no, you just get an electric shock or something.
Well, the averages are dipping here. Slack start to the 9th leg. That's more like it from MVG. Oh, and how? 6 of the best. 180s for Michael. Here comes Gary as well. Crowd are loving this. We're loving it.
I was going to say. Stay there. Single 10. 180, 130 to leave 32. There's not a lot you can do about that. Apart from hit a 180 and put your opponent under pressure. Relying on Michael van Gerwen to miss. 3 at 32. Will Gary Anderson come back for that 64? The answer is no. Look at the reaction from van Gerwen.
It's like Michael misses 2 just to tease Gary.
This is like darts, but better.
Really?
It's amazing.
That's an interesting one.
We don't normally see it so rapid and so good.
It's the best darts in the world, there's no doubt.
Well, they are 1 and 2, so what did we expect?
It's like they're on the practice board, isn't it? They're completely just focused, and there's hardly any emotion with winning darts, with 180s. There's no emotion. It's just get on with it.
There's no time. Tell you what, there's a half an opportunity here if Michael can place 2 in the treble, which he does.
We haven't seen any of the Van Gerwen fist pumps. We haven't seen any of the dramatic celebrations. It's just get on with it.
There's a small chance now. Just hitting 2 trebles to Gary's 1, and if Gary misses this, there's a real opportunity for Michael. Tops now for 119. That is absolutely marvellous. Oh, that's wonderful. Really, truly wonderful.
And the first bit of emotion, I think, really, Gary Anderson, he knew that he'd left the door open for Michael with a miss. Michael just took a sip of his water and, well, came back to start again. It's brilliant.
When you're a world champion, they seem to find ways, don't they? Whilst us mere mortals find ways to lose, they find a way to gather their composure and do the job. That was Gary Anderson at his very, very best.
Well, I'm going to say it now, a draw would be a fair result. It's going to be harsh if one of these loses now.
It's a boring result.
It's just, you know, it could go one way or the other, but quite frankly, I think it'd be harsh if one of these loses it now. 1-3-4 for Michael, and Gary's not on a finish, so 6 starts from here. Just going to set himself up with a 20.
We'll go upstairs looking for 60-60. Stay on the 60 bed. This is for a guaranteed point for Michael van Gerwen. That is the point wrapped up. Gary Anderson is averaging 107. Michael van Gerwen 109.98. This is a must-win leg for Gary Anderson.
Oh, what a start as well! He has the darts, and he started with the full lot. I repeat, a draw would be a fair result. A draw would be a fair result. I thought we were going to get even better then for a minute.
Gary, of course, was the only man in this year's World Championships to hit a 9-darter. That was against Jelle Klassen in the semi-finals.
What a match for Gary that was as well.
What a match this is.
Yeah. Well, it's looking good for Anderson from here now. Michael looking just to put a bit of pressure on. Can he finish it here for a draw? Treble 18 would leave double 4. Well, Michael's not on a finish anyway, so Gary's going to be back.
Yeah, Michael can only put pressure on. And he has. Loads of pressure. Can Gary handle it?
Hasn't missed tops yet. And hasn't missed tops again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass of Premier League darts between the top 2 in the world, MVG and Gary Anderson. 6 apiece. A beautiful game and a fair result as well.
Welcome back to Belfast, where Gary Anderson and Michael van Gerwen have just battled through 12 legs and shared the points. Plenty of big finishes and very impressive averages. The Dutchman with 110 and the defending champion with 108. The night opened with Robert Thornton finally rediscovering his winning ways with a 7-2 victory over Peter Wright. Then it was that man Taylor silencing his critics with yet another win, this time over long-time rival Raymond van Barneveld. Adrian Lewis stole the show with a sensational 9-dart leg and followed it up with a win against James Wade. Confirmation of that draw between Michael van Gerwen and Gary Anderson. And coming up, Raymond van Barneveld and Robert Thornton are back on stage to complete the lineup for Week 11. In terms of the league table, Michael van Gerwen has closed the gap on Phil Taylor, but only by a single point. Gary Anderson remains in 4th, a point clear of James Wade. But the threat to the order of things comes in the form of van Gerwen, and he's now talking to Rod Studd.
Michael, thanks for coming to talk to us. Tremendous level of performance, average of 110, but not enough in the Premier League to get a win even at that standard.
Exactly, I think we didn't give each other much of a chance. We were quite steady, both of our own throws. I had a couple of chances to break his throw. Yeah, if you want to win, you need to take them, and I think it was a good result for both of us, and I think it also was a fair result.
There was a crucial dart I think he had at double top at the end of a big combination finish when you were waiting to break, wasn't there?
I was on 48, he finished 119, and he had the right luck at the right moment, and he also played really well, and I think it was a fantastic match for everyone to look, and yeah, it wasn't that bad. I played a wide, and yeah, there's something to look forward to for next week.
How aware were you that Adrian had hit a 9-dart leg, because you almost threatened one of your own during that match?
Oh yeah, fantastic darts, of course. We were standing there in the practice room, and after that first dart, we knew that was going in, and Yeah, that's just one of them. The most important that he won the 2 points for himself, and I won 1 point, but it was a fantastic game for everyone, and I need to make sure I'm there next week.
Listen, you're in a very strong position to qualify. Well played tonight, Michael. Another great performance.
Thank you very much.
Gary, thanks for coming down and talking to us. Well done on a point there, because you were playing catch-up all the way through the match, weren't you?
I wasn't really catch-up. You had the throw.
Yeah.
You know, I kept making it even. You know, there was one leg I think I had the chance. It kicked off bad. I made a mess of it, you know. So, but you know, it's all right. It's makes him think about it for the next time.
A really good 1-1-9 finish. We're just talking to Michael about there. That was crucial, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, every double's crucial at this stage, you know. But no, it's just he's not that miles ahead on his backside.
You love playing him, don't you? There's a sparkle in your eye.
Oh yeah. I'm here to do one thing, and that's to mark up his starting career. It's no box so far, but we'll give it a go.
We know he's the world #1, but we often say you've got that one thing that he wants, the World Championship, haven't you?
And the Premier League.
And the Premier League.
And the Premier League. So it's the 2 big ones. He says it's the future that counts, but the past, he thinks about the past. Don't get me wrong, he's got it that he's not got them. I have, but he's going to have to take it off me.
It's a great rivalry, and that match was a great watch. Thanks for talking to us, Gary.
Cheers, lad. Cheers, lad.
Coming up now, the final match from Belfast. Raymond van Barneveld against Robert Thornton. Commentary for this one comes from Rod Harrington and Nigel Pearson. But first, it's Wayne Mardle and Dave Clark.
How will Wayne Mardle react to defeat to Taylor early in the night?
Well, I'm hoping he's fine. He played well enough. He pulled himself out of a hole, didn't quite get all the way out of it, but the performance was good. Robert was, like I said earlier, he was sensational. But it's an important game. Look, they're bottom and second from bottom. And if Robert can beat Raymond, he'll send Raymond to the foot of the table. No one wants to be last. No one wants the Mardle Trophy, which is where I seem to finish every year. But no one wants to be bottom. Robert Thornton, at the moment, is playing better than Raymond, so he will fancy his chances.
It's been incredible, Thornton's improvement in form over the last few weeks.
His tenacity has been the key for it. He's believed in his own ability. He's refused to wilt, and he will just keep trying to the very, very end.
Over to Rod Harrington and Nigel Pearson.
Yeah, what a night it's been here in Belfast. These two ultimately face the disappointment of not making it through to the playoffs at the O2, semi-finals and finals night on May the 19th. But pride to play for sure. And Robert Thornton is playing like a relaxed character with no pressure on his shoulders. Played quite nicely against Peter Wright first up tonight. The 7-2 win and 105.6 average. Barney, of course, had that tense tussle with Phil Taylor, who probably feels he should have seen Barney off a little bit earlier than he did. Tough one to call this, Rod. Which way is it going to go?
Well, the way Robert Thornton played against Peter Wright, you'd have thought that he will get the edge, but it's all about Barney in this first start and not getting down on himself, keeping upbeat, because he did have a late run against Taylor. And if Barney had taken the doubles out in that first leg against Phil, then it could have been a totally different game. But when you're chasing, it always becomes hard, especially on the double. And like Wayne said, you know, you don't want to be at the bottom of the league. There's pride at stake.
Very much so. Barney on 7 points from 11. Both these players now on their second game of the night, and so scrappy from Thornton. Completely different to the first game of the night. Treble 20 would leave tops for Barney.
Mind you, they have got something to follow off those last two games. You've only just joined us. You have missed a massive evening here in Belfast. Adrian Lewis with a 9-dart leg. And then Gary Anderson and Michael Van Gogh in 16 minutes, Nige. An incredible draw.
Yeah, everything went with the throw. Didn't look like being anything different. 16 minutes for 12 legs of Premier League darts. Tops for Barney. Tops he gets. Well, it was scrappy, but Barney comes through and takes the first leg with the throw. Now, Robert has to get his game together. That's more like it.
Yeah, I think he was so far behind in that first leg, he kind of just give it up a little bit, just relaxed. Some players, you know, when they're that far behind, they don't want to hit a 180 or a 140 because they feel it's wasted for the next leg. Wade was one like that.
Barney, of course, went on a great run in the second half of the 2014-2015 Premier League campaign. He was champion in 2014. He beat Michael Van Gogh in 10-6 in the final. Went on a great run in the second half of last year. Barney did say ahead of tonight, probably needs to win every game to have any chance. Well, he's not done that. He's been missing doubles of late, of course. Barney won the earlier fixture in the Premier League between these two, 7-5 in Dublin. But it's scrappy from both. It's after the Lord Mayor's show, this one, Rod.
Yes, although the previous game, if they happen to beat that, well, then that would be incredible. But we know Barney's still got the game in him. I mean, the 6-all draw with Michael, he led Michael all the way, and he beat Michael up in the World Championships, so we know he's still got the game. Well, double top now for Thornton.
Well, he wasn't doing that earlier either. He made it look easy earlier. Barney a mile behind, and looks as though he knows it as well. Double 10. Thought it was in, didn't he? There you go. What a piece!
Certainly nothing to write home about on averages at the moment, but every place is worth a few extra £1,000, so, and you just don't want to come bottom. And Wayne nicknamed it the Model Trophy.
Was very honest to Wayne. But yeah, it's remarkable that it's, oh, this is nice from Barney. There you go. First one of the game for Raymond van Barneveld, 5 times world champion. This fella, Robert Thornton, who was staring elimination in the face. But he played in Liverpool twice. You mentioned that draw with MVG, Rod. And that set him up for Judgment Night, and other results went his way. He survived. It looked a lost cause going into Liverpool, but he scraped through, and it was Dave Chisnell and Michael Smith who were eliminated with 3 points apiece. Double 16 for Barney, and double 16 he gets.
Well, the averages may not be much to write home about, but Barney's 2 out of 2 on the doubles. And out of the two nights, we had to be honest, you know, we thought that Robert would come out firing and Barney may be a little bit lethargic, because we know how Barney gets, you know, gets a little bit down on himself. But at the moment, it's Barney that's leading the way.
We move on to Bournemouth next week in the Premier League. Bournemouth International Centre. Look at this from Barney. He plays Adrian next week on the second game of the night. Barney against Lewis. And Robert Thornton will play Phil Taylor. MVG plays twice next week in Bournemouth. And Adrian Lewis has a busy night as well. He plays Barney and Michael. Brilliant! More like it from Raymond van Barneveld. He's on a finish, but Robert looking to put a bit of pressure on here.
Yeah, he kind of needed a maximum himself, did Thornton. Will he go 11 bullseye? He's got to, with Thornton on the 1-4-3. Just northeast of the bullseye. Oh, now treble 17 for Thornton. Oh, double 16.
Looked as though he'd done all the hard work, but when it comes to the finish, that's what counts. Now Barney, 9 for double 8. 2 darts at this now. Only needs 1, and that's a break of throw as well in Van Barneveld's favour. And Raymond van Barneveld leads 3 legs to 1 here now.
Well, he's pushed his average up to just under the 95 now, Barney, from just over 80, so the last few legs he's well over 100 as Thornton hits his first maximum of his second game. We're talking about that earlier match with Van Gogh and Anderson, 16, just over 16 minutes. It should take me that long to get to the stage, Nige.
Barney looking to hold his throw here for a 4-1 lead. Terrific night here. Adrian Lewis hitting a 9-darter, the first one in the Premier League since 2012. And a 6-all draw between Michael Van Gerwen and Gary Anderson that took 16 minutes. Awesome, awesome darts from the world's best players.
And do you know what, that 9-darter of Lewis, I know it sounds silly that he threw 9 perfect darts, but sometimes you get a dart in the corner or you get a deflection that puts him in. Adie Lewis threw 9 absolutely 100% darts tonight. An incredible 9-darter. We've been waiting for it, and Jackpot come up trumps.
I think week by week we've been saying we fancy a 9-darter tonight, and it's never quite happened. We've had world record averages. Double 8 here for Robert Thornton would do nicely, and he gets it as well. He's broken back immediately. 3-2, Van Barneveld leads. But the Premier League has been brilliant in these 11 weeks. Michael hitting that 123.4 world record television average in Aberdeen. But the 9-darter was one which had eluded us all until tonight. But week after week, we've been almost expecting it, Rod.
We have. I predicted it every week. And finally it's come up.
It's taken you 11 weeks to get it right.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's about average. But we have to mention, I mean, Phil Taylor is now 4 points clear at the top of the league.
Brilliant.
I know he's played that 1 extra game, but it still puts him 2 points clear, as even if Van Gerwen has a double header.
Well, he's got 1 foot in the playoffs. Without speaking too soon, the Power has got 1 foot in the O2 Arena on May the 19th.
Do you know what? I liked Gary Anderson's interview as well. I'm coming for you, Michael. They're talking about you. That's what happens between top sportsmen in a sport.
Now, Thornton looking to set himself up. Get to trouble with the last dart, he needed that as well.
Well, some tired darts being thrown by both players, but a chance here for Thornton to level it up. He's going to get another handful if this one doesn't go in. However, he finds the target with it.
Level at 3 apiece. You could tell Robert was determined there at the finish. World Grand Prix champion, of course. Said earlier tonight he hopes the pressure of 2 games in one night will bring the best out of him, and that certainly was the case in the first game of the night. Average is modest in this modern day game. Are we heading for a draw, I wonder?
Well, at the moment, Nigel, it has got draw written all over it. There we see Barney's throw. It hasn't changed over all the years that we've known him. Big man, about 6'3", so he's coming from a lot more height, where Robert has to throw the dart a lot harder. He's throwing up at that treble 20, and it's certainly working. Now Barney can't afford a visit without a treble if he doesn't take it out. Oh, Michael van Gerwen missed it earlier on.
Well, both players realistically know that they're out of contention for the playoffs. But every position in the league table brings some reward.
And pride. Professional sportsman, you don't want to lose anything. Barnes going to get a dart at double 5 to hold on to the throw, and a chance here for Thornton. And it will be the 3rd leg on the spin for the Scotsman.
Double 4. Now a chance for Raymond to hold his throw. Double 2 he needs for 4-3. Got to go double 1 now. Here's a chance for Thornton for a break.
Oh, he had to lay that on the barrel and it would have kicked in. Oh, a bit of a scrappy leg, Nige.
Very scrappy, and a scrappy game as well. And double 2 for Van Barneveld now. Gets it. It is very much, though, as I said a few moments ago, case of after the Lord Mayor's show, after that wonderful, wonderful game between Michael and Gary, and the 9-darter for Adrian Lewis.
Well, you said it's got draw written over it, and it certainly looks like it. No player can get a grasp of the game, and when you look at the averages, you feel that a player's only going to put a run of 2 or even 3 legs together, and he's got win written all over it for him.
Well, it's not just this game, but these guys have got a few weeks to go yet. Bournemouth, Birmingham, Manchester and Rotterdam. So there's still a lot of darts to be played. Barney plays Peter Wright in Rotterdam on May the 12th, the first Premier League visit to the Netherlands. Raymond's home country, of course.
Well, half expected Robert Thornton to go for a 25 to leave a 2-dart combination on the 96. However, Barney's not really put a lot of pressure on. So to level it up, treble 19, that leaves double 12. Double 12 it is. Missed handfuls of doubles in the previous leg and cleanly kills the 101.
4 apiece. Heading for a draw, it seems. And this final game of a wonderful night here in Belfast. Look at this from Robert, a slack last dart.
Well, if you went on body language, Robert Thornton would win the game. But you can never write this man out, because all of a sudden he can start finding the treble. And as I say that, thank you very much, Mr. Barneveld.
Finds it from nowhere. That said, it is his third 180. But it's not been a pretty game so far. Stayed up the ball beautifully though there, didn't he? Nice darts from Barney. He's left double 12. But again, it's only for a hold of throw, Rod.
Well, he's gone 180, 140. This could be 7 perfect darts. 7 perfect darts it is. Now, Barney, you can do that. Why can't you follow it up? Oh, this looks like a poor start to the leg, so a chance for Barney.
Nice again. Barney's just stepping it up a little bit. If he can break Robert Thornton here, he will not be beaten. It's a nice steady ton though. Now, can Barney find the big score to put pressure on Robert? Another treble 20 would do nicely. So there is a little bit of pressure on Robert Thornton now.
Yes, tons are not enough for Thornton, so it's in the hands of Barneveld to get at least the draw. You know, the previous leg and this leg, I mean, Barneveld has scored absolutely brilliantly, done absolutely nothing wrong.
This would be something special, wouldn't it? Got the treble 19, another one would leave double 6. Needs a ball. Well, you've got to fancy Robert to take this out now. Tops he needs for 5 apiece. And Barney's going to be back.
Yes, to break the throw and then step up to throw for the match. Double 8. Oh, now has that dart covered the double 8? No, that's the answer. Barneveld gets 1 point on the board at least, and now he steps up to throw for the match.
Yes, he will not be beaten, and this is a lovely start. He wants this job done, doesn't he? How he wants this job done!
Well, Barney's expression said it all with that 4th dart. However, a ton following a 180 on your throw will do every day of the week. And how he's going to get, well, probably 9 darts from 221 to register the first win of the evening. Lost to Phil Taylor early on. Robert Thornton beat Peter Wright in the very first game of the night here in Belfast. A memorable night in Belfast. Adrian Lewis with the 9-darter.
This is for the match. Double 14, and Barney gets it. Well, it was a scrappy contest, but it's Raymond van Barneveld who wins the final game of the night here in Belfast. A 9-darter and a 16-minute match. A draw between MVG and Gary Anderson, rounded off with a 7-4 win for Raymond van Barneveld.